in North Carolina this year, even if they might be a little more freaked out than usual about the stakes of what happens if they potentially lose this race. The chair of the Democratic Party in North Carolina says that the Democrats are not ceding any ground in the state this year. They're actively campaigning, especially in rural areas that have sometimes in the past been written off as red-leaning. This year, they say they're going to find every single vote, even in the most rural corners of every community in the state. They're not letting Republicans run uncontested in state legislative races. They're not letting any corner of the state be ceded as red territory. North Carolina Democrats plainly this year are ambitious. They are energized about their chances, not just for Josh Stein in that governor's race, but for Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket, too. Joining us now is North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein, Democratic nominee for governor. Mr. Attorney General, I really thank you for being here tonight. I know it's a really busy time.
Thank you, Rachel.
Let me first just ask you if I got that right about your father's experience when you were growing up in North Carolina and what you remember about that.
Yeah, you got it exactly right, and it warmed my heart to hear you say it. My father and his law partners are my heroes, that they inspired me to do the work that I do because they were always fighting for what was right, and they wouldn't back down even after that firebombing. Chambers' home was firebombed, his car was firebombed. They were incredibly brave, but they had resolve because in their hearts, they knew what they were fighting for was right. And it's a little bit different today, but we're having similar fights in North Carolina and across this country. And what we're fighting for is right. It's about fighting for people. It's about trying to have hope, not hate. It's about decency, not obscenity. It's about competence, not chaos. It is about a better future for all of our people. And that's what our campaign's about. And sadly, Mark Robinson represents 100% the opposite.
I want to ask you about what's going on with your opponent right now. It's still a developing story. There's news in terms of him shedding endorsements and losing support, even just tonight. And I want to get there, but I do want to ask you about the Democratic campaign. There's a lot of attention on North Carolina because if Kamala Harris at the presidential level can win North Carolina, many of the potential paths for Donald Trump to win the presidency are closed off. It's really important. Democrats do seem like they are sort of quietly confident that they might be able to do it. There's a lot of paid staffers for the Democratic presidential campaign in North Carolina. There's dozens of field offices. We have seen efforts in rural parts of the state that might previously have been written off as rural, as red-leaning because they're rural. Can you tell me about the integration of your efforts, the state Democratic Party's efforts, Kamala Harris's efforts, and what you think about the keys to Democratic victory are just strategically and tactically in your state this year?
Yeah, there is no road to the White House for Donald Trump without North Carolina. He needs to win North Carolina in order to have a chance. That's why he's coming again. He was just here this weekend. He's coming back in a day or two. And J.D. Vance has been here twice in the last week. They are so committed to winning, but the same energy is happening on the Harris-Walz tickets. They keep coming to North Carolina because they know they can win. And there is just widespread enthusiasm. Honestly, the only thing I can liken it to was 2008, the first time Obama ran for president. There were people bumping into each other, knocking on doors. And it's that kind of energy. 250 field workers, dozens and dozens of field offices. And we want
and the other thing is regarding Jill Biden, saying we got to wrap this up.
Committed
Maybe
to winning
she's
this race.
saying that because she's running the country.
In addition to winning, I want to stamp out this toxicity and to show that there is a better way forward for North Carolina. And then I hope we're going to work our tails off to break the supermajority in our General Assembly. We're only one vote shy in each chamber. We have an important Supreme Court race. We have 10 excellent candidates running for the Council state. And then, of course, Vice President Harris running for president.
Even before the recent round of reporting about reported online statements from your opponent for governor. And I should say he denies these statements. But even before that, he is on record saying he wants to go back to a time when women were not allowed to vote. He has said that women should not be allowed to lead. He has said that the only reason that women want abortions or that women care about abortion rights is because they can't keep their skirts down. He has called gay people filth. He has called teachers terrible people, and in worse terms than that. That's all before you got to the most recent round of reporting from the Washington Post and CNN that he has literally called himself a Nazi, praised Hitler, praised Mein Kampf, and said he wants to bring slavery back. I mean, I almost feel like this is Mad Libs at this point. I don't know what else could be revealed about a candidate to make him more cartoonishly offensive to most people who are going to be considering whether or not to vote for him. What do you think should happen in your race? Do you think that he should drop out? Do you think the Republican Party should do something to try to remove him from consideration as their Republican nominee for governor? How do you handle this tide of revelations about him?
Mark Robinson has revealed himself to be absolutely unfit to be governor, unacceptable for any elected position. I don't care what office it is, but let alone governor. And this was true before last week's story broke. And yet practically every Republican running for office in the legislature and above in North Carolina have endorsed him. Former President Trump has endorsed them. Not a single Republican in North Carolina has rescinded his or her endorsement of Mark Robinson. It's astounding to me. No, he shouldn't be the candidate. He never should have been the candidate. He is wrong for North Carolina. He's wrong for the people. He's divisive. He's hateful. He's mean-spirited and nasty. It's just unacceptable that we would have somebody like that leading our state, and it doesn't have to be that way. We do not have to have that kind of future here in North Carolina. There is a better path forward where we're fighting for people. We're trying to create opportunity for people. We're tapping everyone's potential so that we can build a better future for all of us. And that future is possible if we win this race. Folks out there, if they want to help us defeat Mark Robinson and create a better future for North Carolina, go to my website, joshstein.org. It would be incredibly helpful.
Josh Stein, North Carolina Attorney General, Democratic nominee for governor. Sir, thank you very much for being here. I know you've got a very, very, very important race to run. I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you, Rachel. I should mention that just since we've been on the air, the Republican governor of Georgia, Josh Stein is right that North Carolina Republicans have not pulled their endorsements, but the Georgia Republican governor, Brian Kemp, tonight pulled his endorsement of Mark Robinson.
Angry Mark Robinson is very angry. Angry Mark Robinson, the guy who was he's very transphobic, very homophobic, very full of hate, black Nazi even. Because he's been found out, he's now super angry and CNN. Let's get ready to rumble. Seriously, can I just calm down for a while? Take my hat off as well. Mark Robinson has been found out. Now, I know he's going along the lines of denial. I'm not sure just saying it's all AI is going to work for him. But hey, he's busted a blood vessel. He's furious.
We're considering legal action against CNN about the story that they put out. We have not formulated our exact plan yet, but we are in talks about that. And we're very serious and intentional about doing it.
How are you going to run without your top campaign aides?
We're not worried about that either. We are in contact with a lot of folks. We've got resumes coming in like crazy. We've got people who've already stepped up to the plate to help us. We are confident that we have a team of people that we're going to be able to put together that are going to be able to carry this campaign to victory. So we're confident in that.
What can you do to prove that you were not on those sites?
Again, we're not going to fight that out here because that's what CNN wants us to do. What we're going to do is we're going to reiterate our thoughts again, and we're going to reiterate what I said in there. While this country is literally facing a crisis situation on the world stage, while our border is wide open, while our businesses are struggling, while folks are dying from fentanyl, while crime is spiraling out of control, You folks want to focus on tabloid trash, and quite frankly, I am sick of it. And every time I get in front of you, I'm going to cut you off and tell you, you need to refocus yourself on the issues that matter to people. And 15-year-old sensational lies don't matter to people. What matters to people is how they're going to make it in this state, how they're going to make a living, how they're going to get educated, how they're going to protect their children from crime and drugs. That's what matters in this state. You all have been unwilling to share my message with the general population. You follow me to every church. You follow me to every meeting. You've heard what I've said. You refuse to share my words with folks. But make no mistake about it, folks. That's not going to deter me to continue to do it. If you all don't want to deliver the message to the people of North Carolina, they have a champion in me, then we will. And that's the last thing I have to say about it.
Do you feel that President Trump and the RGA have abandoned you? Do you feel that former President Trump has abandoned you? Lieutenant Governor, do you feel that former President Trump has abandoned you? Have you talked to
Your policy about the groups of people that you would like to kill? Thank you. Mr. Robinson, can you address the issue of the groups of the people that you would like to have killed? I guess not.